Hello dear viewers, welcome to ERi-TV English News Broadcast. I'm Basaba Taghla and these are the major headlines for today. President ERi is on official visit to Kenya. East Africa Maritime Competition to be held in Massawa. Uganda says it will not renew term of UN Human Rights Office. And the U.S. China trade hit record high in 2022. On your local reports, President ERi, on invitation from President William Ruto of the Republic of Kenya, arrived in Nairobi in the morning hours of today, 8 February, for a two-day official visit. Upon arrival at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, President ERi was accorded warm welcome by Dr. Alfred Nganga Mutua, Minister of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, and Mr. Aden Bare Duale, Minister of Defense of Kenya, as well as Mr. Beyene Russom, Eritrea's ambassador to Kenya. During his stay in Kenya, President ERi will discuss with President William Ruto on developments of bilateral relations as well as regional issues of interest to the two countries. The presidential delegation includes Mr. Usman Saleh, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and Presidential Advisor Mr. Yemane Gabrab. On your last local report, the Eritrean Athletics Federation reported that the 24th East Africa Half Marathon competition will be conducted in the port city of Massawa in connection with the 33rd anniversary of Fenkel Operation commemoration. According to Mr. Ephraim Tekheste, president of the federation, over 60 athletes from Eritrea, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda will take part, and that will add color to the historical Fenkel Operation commemoration. Mr. Ephraim further noted that the result of winners of the competition will be documented at the Office of World Athletics Association in Monaco. Mr. Ephraim also said that Eritrea will be represented by renowned athletes and are expected to compete with prominent Ethiopian and Kenyan athletes. The 33rd anniversary of Fenkel Operation will be commemorated from 10 to 12 February under the theme Fenkel Resolute Commitment. And I'll be back with your international reports, dear viewers, after the short break. Welcome back. Uganda will not renew the mandate of the United Nations Rights Office in the East African country and will rely on domestic institutions to safeguard rights, the government said, after the body flagged torture and unlawful detention sites. In the letter by Uganda's Foreign Affairs Ministry sent to Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights on 3 February and seen by Reuters on Wednesday, the ministry noted progress Uganda had made in developing a domestic capacity to monitor rights as the main reason for its decision. During discussions of a report on torture in November, the body recognized Uganda's progress in developing national rights institutions. Tensions were evident, however, when the body raised in the talks allegations of arbitrary detention of hundreds of people, including critics of President Yoweri Museveni, and a lack of action to prosecute cases of torture. Attorney General Kiryowa Kiwanuka at the time said hundreds of torture cases had been successfully prosecuted and denied the government ran illegal detention centers. According to the Uganda government, the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights in Uganda was established in 2006 and was initially allowed to focus only on human rights issues in conflict-plagued areas in Uganda's north and northeast areas. However, it was later allowed to cover the rest of the country. On your final report, trade between the United States and China hit a record high in 2022, even as political tensions heightened between the world's top two economies. The bilateral goods trade between the countries rose to $690.6 billion last year, according to official U.S. data, which was released on Tuesday. Exports to China increased by $2.4 billion to $153.8 billion, while imports of Chinese products rose by $31.8 billion to $536.8 billion, according to the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis. The data suggests that the idea of decoupling or reducing mutual reliance in a range of areas is much more evident in policy discussions in Washington rather than on-the-ground trade reality. Last week, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken postponed a planned trip to China in response to the flying of a suspected Chinese spy balloon over the United States. The incident marked a significant new phase in rising tension between Washington and Beijing. Economically drained by its now abandoned zero-COVID strategy, Beijing has been upping its diplomacy with Western governments, according to analysts, in a bid to win back lost ground and stabilize its relations. China's economy expanded by just 3% last year in one of the worst performances in nearly half a century. You're still watching us on ERi-TV, dear viewers, and now a recap of the major headlines. President Isaias Afwerki is on official visit to Kenya. East Africa Maritime Competition to be held in Massawa. Uganda says it will not renew term of UN Human Rights Office. And the U.S. China trade hit record high in 2022. Dear viewers, that was it for today. Thanks for watching.